I'm Maria Menounos, and you're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Hey guys!
How are you?
Welcome back to the Locke and Key After Show. Tonight we're getting into Season 1, Episode 4, The Keeper of the Keys. Tonight we're going to get into the kids and how they're enjoying their keys, finding out Dodge's weakness, perhaps. And of course, we have our special segment, News and Gossip and Predictions. I'm your moderator, Princess Carol. I'm a fan of kids taking the lead in general. But sitting over to my left, I also have Janice, who is our Darby Stanchfield
Hi,
fan.
everyone. Thank you for watching us. I love Darby, and it really, really pained me to see that she was questioning herself as a mother when the fire started breaking out in her house. So that was really, really heartbreaking for me.
I'm excited to get into that. And over to her left, we also have our journeyman, Mr. Lauren.
Hello, everybody.
All right, so let's go ahead and get into tonight's episode. What were some of your overall thoughts?
I thought it was an interesting episode. Seeing Kenzie defeat fear, really kind of cool to see where that goes and how much confidence she's changed just with a simple highlight of pink. If I still had hair, I would have highlighted my hair pink for that same confidence.
Yes, indeed.
And you were talking about how everyone was trying to bring her down when she changed up her hairstyle and was very, open and confident. And I really like to see that side of her. She seemed less of a, angsty teenager. And we're talking about how, annoying she was. But this episode, she was just like a breath of fresh air. It was really nice to watch her through that. And also the concept of taking out the fear in your brain. That's something I've just never thought of, but I feel like that's really genius for the writers to talk about. And
yeah, definitely.
I'm excited to see where that storyline goes.
So let's go ahead and dive into that. So the previous episode, we saw Kenzie killing her fear. We also saw Dodge kind of leering in the background. But then in this episode, we see the results of that killing of the fear. And we see Kenzie, of course, painting her hair pink. She cooks breakfast for the family. She's a different Kenzie.
She really is.
She is. Taylor was hating a little bit, and I wasn't here for it. I'm like, please, don't kill her vibe. Yeah. But I'm happy that the kids are starting to enjoy the magic and the mystery of the keys. We also got to see Taylor kind of go into it as well.
Yeah, I feel like this episode was very lighthearted. In the past, we've seen people die. This episode was more like seeing the characters just be themselves. We saw Tyler get to go on a first date. We saw Kenzie take her love interest into her mind, and it was just very laid back and fun. But then at the end, of course, something always has to happen. And Echo shows up, and it's just like a downer.
Yeah. So when no one dies, that's a fun episode in the world of Lock and Key. Apparently, I like that. I'm interested in the relationship that career counselor Joe is having with Tyler, trying to kind of take him under his wings. And I'm curious to see where that relationship goes and why he's taking the interest, because Tyler can't be the only student to start, although it's the middle of the semester, middle of the school year. I'm kind of wondering where that's going to go.
Yeah, me too, because we saw Tyler hang out with the jocks, and they seemed like his crowd, quote unquote, but it seems like the teacher sees something in him that maybe he didn't see in himself. And we see him start to pursue Jackie and kind of just go off into his own path. So it's really interesting to see how each of the characters are starting to evolve and mature. I do agree with you. I'm not really sure of his motives. It could be that he sees a young version of himself in Tyler. Or do you guys think that he's hiding something? Because everyone else on the show sure is.
I feel like he has more of a history of Tyler's family. He knew Tyler's dad growing up, so maybe he's trying to prevent Tyler from joining the same crowd that his father did, because that ended up kind of tragically. So he's like, no, I need to protect this kid because, we don't want him to go down the same, journey as his dad.
That's an interesting point. What do you think, Lauren?
I don't think I would add anything else to that. I think that's stated really well. We don't know where Joe's going, and you do wonder what his motives are.
Yeah.
But he loves plants.
Yeah, he's a very warm character. I feel like he's a comedic relief I mean, we do have Scott, who's very funny, but like for the adults, everyone is just so gloomy and
Yeah.
Angsty. Would you say angsty?
Angsty,
The
yes.
adults are angsty. The kids are angsty.
Everybody's a little angsty.
I feel like Bryant, who couldn't join us tonight, would be very happy to learn
I
that.
think it would. Ryan, we miss you, by the way.
He'll be back. He'll be back someday. But so our other budding couple, Scott and Kenzie, and I actually wasn't sure how she felt about Scott, so I'm glad that we got to see in this episode how she feels about him and her decide to take the next step in their relationship. What did you guys think of that moment?
I felt like she wasn't acting as herself in this moment because she took out her fear. She was like, yeah, you know what? I'm just going to do something daring. I don't think she actually really likes him. I just think it's
Really?
just an opportunity to show that she is confident, because before that, we saw her like show some interest in him. You know, it wasn't that powerful. I might be wrong, but I just didn't see any chemistry between them.
We all have our thoughts. It's all the
See,
different
and
perspectives.
I see a chemistry going, at least a friendship, and something more. He's a really goofy guy that she's kind of latched onto. So I'm curious what her life was like in Seattle, what the kind of groups that she used to hang out with.
Yeah. The one thing so we talked about this in our 60-second reaction. When she brought him into her room, I totally thought that scene was going to go in a different direction. And I was like,
I did
Kenzie
too.
really just
I
jumped
really
off
did.
the cliff.
She was like
she became
so
someone brand new.
fearless.
Right. But then she took him into her mind, which I thought was interesting, but also kind of dangerous. What did you guys think of that choice?
Well, I thought it was interesting that she lost the fear, and I was trying to think, if I had no fear, would I bring somebody into my world? And maybe that's the thing that we kind of take a long time when we're dating to get to that point where the other person knows our innermost thoughts. She just kind of brought him in and then showed a birthday. So that was like a tender moment for her, reliving her past. So,
Yeah, I think she's always had a connection with Scott because Scott, from the jump, always just like never judged her. He liked her for who she was. He called her, what was it, Rocky Road? Like, even though you're messy, I love you.
Classy.
you
Very
know?
classy.
So I think if there was anyone that she was going to invite into her mind, it was going to be him, because he's just that really sweet, kind soul to her. I think I see them as friends. Like, I would see them as like really good friends. I just don't see that romantic energy between them. Guys, I'm sorry. If you're like shipping them, I'm so sorry right now.
I don't know. I actually got nervous because this is the first time an outsider is being exposed to their world. So I guess time will tell what's going to happen now that Scott knows that.
That was a bold choice.
Right. Now that Scott knows the magic is real. And, you know, when she killed off her fearlessness, in a way, sometimes fear is actually, healthy fear is helpful. So maybe that went along with it. I don't know. I guess time will tell.
I feel like the next episode or the coming episodes, we're going to explore that a little bit, because fear is good. Fear prevents you from, you know, danger. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to that. It's going to be cool.
I
I
agree.
know it.
I agree. Well, before we head into our next topic,
Yes,
we have a
guys,
message for
I have
our
a message
fans.
for you. Thank you guys so much for making us the ESPN of TV Talk. We love reading your comments and interacting with you guys. So please leave us any comments down below. Tell us what you're thinking. If you disagree with us, let us know. If you agree with us, we're always happy to hear that as well. Make sure to subscribe to us on YouTube, and also we do podcasts. So please check us out on any podcast app that you listen to. Give us ratings on iTunes, and also leave us a comment on iTunes. And we want to thank you so much for making us, you know, the biggest TV after show network. And I love AfterBuzz because it's allowed me to meet so many cool people, and I get to talk about TV shows, which I love, and everyone here loves TV. So you're here with your people. And yeah, thank you so much for supporting us. And yeah, we can keep talking about TV.
Thank you. All right, so we saw Kenzie make a dig at Nina, and at the end we saw that she blocked her out of her memories. Even though Kenzie apologized, part of me wonders, why did you do that? I feel like there's something more to their story, because to block someone out of your past, I feel like something had to have happened. And
I
we've
had the
seen
same
her leave the
feeling.
kids around but on their own. So we know that we have to call Child Protective Services.
Yeah.
But,
Brian, we got you.
but I want to know, like, what do you guys think? Do you think there's more to that story?
Any thoughts?
there's something strange about the way Nina has behaved ever since she or a version of her came out of the mirror. And I feel like I'm staring at her and listening to her closely, trying to find out, is that the regular Nina? Is that the mirror Nina? So you're right. There is a lot of stuff. Even with Tyler, there was a relationship we're kind of just getting a little bit of between him and Kenzie, that Kenzie wanted to reach out to him and said, you're not the same as you used to be. So everybody was different in Seattle. And it feels like there's a lot of unknowns that at least me, I'm feeling, that makes me question about what's going on.
Well, speaking of unknowns, I want to bring up Ellie. So in this episode, we see Ellie and Nina, and Ellie's always bringing more truth to light for Nina. And she takes her down to the basement, and they knock down a wall and expose more of Rendell's past that she didn't know. So what did you guys think of that moment, just really quickly?
Honestly,
do we trust Ellie? Are we on board with her yet?
Ellie. I like Ellie. I want to love her so much, but she just gives like some fake reactions. Sometimes I'm just like, girl, we can see through that. Like, for example, I think what's the mom's name? Nina brought up something about I don't remember exactly what, but she was just like, but like you could see like it wasn't like that funny to her. I can't remember. I'm so sorry, but yeah, I at first I was like, oh, let's trust her, but now I'm just like, nah, there's something she's hiding.
Well, she did bring up another friend, Aaron, who we find out later when Echo/Dodge goes to visit. She also goes by Vossi, which is really interesting. I want to hear more about that.
Contrast.
Yeah, so we see these two interact, and there appears to be some sort of connection between Dodge and that group of friends. What do you guys think may have happened? I know there's so many possibilities.
Right. Now, the story is that three of them died in an underground cave.
So we've been told.
Right,
yes,
a sea cove. Yet it seems like all of a sudden we have a lot of characters still living who are somehow involved and or hiding things.
Or dying.
Or dying, right. And so there's more questions and more questions.
Yeah, from what I could account for, only 2 people in their friend group is still alive. Aaron from the psychiatric hospital and Ellie. So I wonder why both of them are still alive. Ellie doesn't seem like a happy person, so this death has definitely put a damp on her. And Vossi is just, she can't even talk. Like,
literally,
girl she needs help.
I mean, that's why she's there.
Yeah. We saw Echo visit her, so we know maybe Echo has something to do with it. And she was like clipping her nails. Was that like a way of caring for her, or was it just like, oh, I can do anything to you right now? Like, I could literally cut you with this. Like, it was very...
I think all of that is correct. It's showing dominance and fearlessness and kind of a threat. So
I think so too.
Yeah. Well, so we did get to see a little bit of a chink in Dodge's armor when she confronted Bode and the tornado sort of flames that she had going on. So we find out that she can't take anyone's key. They have to give it to her. And I thought that was really interesting. Do you guys think that could be metaphorical? Because I feel like this show is a lot deeper than we may give it credit for. You know,
Quick question. Was that just her? Like, she can't take the key from them, or anyone can take it forcefully from?
We don't know yet.
Because I was hoping it was anyone, I was trying to think to see if in the past the siblings have like tried to take it from each other and, it didn't work, but I couldn't really see an instance.
You know what? Kenzie took it from Bode.
Yeah, and it worked.
So maybe it is her own problem.
Maybe if you have like a ill mindset towards the use of the key, then you can't really take it forcefully.
And if we remember the show True Blood, vampire could not walk into a home without being invited in.
Yeah.
So
I like that.
Okay, now I got to say it. Suke. But it's interesting that she could not take the key. I'm wondering, right now, Sam is the only other person we know is in on this. I wonder if there's a key if he has the same issue. I'm wondering if he's kind of an assistant, if Echo is like the devil is Sam the assistant or an underling, or so that
She did say family,
Yeah.
so maybe they're becoming this unit, like maybe they're becoming like the Decepticons. I don't know. But that's a good point. I didn't even think about
Yeah.
that. So I guess we'll find out because that's how the episode ended.
yeah.
With that being said, that is our coverage for episode 4. Next up, we have our special segment with Janice.
Yes, guys, welcome back to Locked In. So this week we're going to be talking about one of the keys that we found this episode that Echo actually used to set the house on fire, like the fireplace on fire, and also set like a circle of fire around her and Bode. So I want to ask you guys a question. If you had the match key, that's what the key is called actually, what would you do with the key? What would you use it for evil? Would you use it for good? Would you use it for fun? Would you start a bonfire? What would you use the key for?
Bonfires are fun.
I've
Right.
never been to one. Someone invite me to a bonfire, please.
Girl.
Okay.
It looks so fun.
Now I know
They're
what we're
fun. They're very moody and teen angsty, right? That's
Very
usually
California, I think.
Yeah, it is very California.
Yes.
You go to Santa Monica, you have it on the beach,
Yes.
and you're hanging out. Somebody's got a guitar playing something you can't understand what it
Yeah,
is. If I had the key, I think I would replace the thing you can light fireplaces with, one with the little tip on the end.
Gas
Oh,
lighter?
yeah.
Yeah, like a little gas. Yeah,
lighter?
I would replace that because the key would always work. This thing always seems to run out of fuel for me.
Good
Are you lighting
point.
things a lot? Are you lighting things?
Just I dream of having a fireplace, so I'm practicing for that time I can afford one.
Off of that, I love lighting candles, and because I light candles almost daily, I do run out of those from time to time. So I actually have a fireplace.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
Wow.
so I would use it for the same purpose.
Got it.
Yes.
Where would the keyhole be if you could set it anywhere?
That's so true. I think
Would
next
you
episode
put it
we're gonna discover that.
on you somewhere? Would you put it into the wall?
I think we'll find out in the future how exactly it has to be used, because we saw in the first episode, the first person who used it put it into his chest, but I don't know
Right.
if that was just to kill himself. So I guess as we find out more about the key, we'll find out. I don't want to
Yeah.
poke any
She
part
handed
of me.
the key.
Right, and I don't want to give away anything from the comic books, so
So-
we'll discover that
In the
in a
future.
future episode.
Yeah. What would I use the key for? Like you said, candles. Like I don't have a lighter in my house right now, so what I would do is I would use like a cotton swab, like light it on my fireplace, and then like bring it all the way to my room and like light my little candles. Like it's a chore, so definitely I like your idea.
I'm going to
Yeah.
go to the dollar store and get you a lighter, girl.
Please do. Please. Please. I mean, I don't like candles a lot, but when I do, it's just like, ugh. But you guys, let us know what you would do with the
The matchstick key,
the
yeah.
matchstick key in the comments, or, tweet at us, send us a comment on Instagram, or send us a message on Instagram. We're always happy to hear.
Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am. All right, next up, we have news and gossip with Lauren. Juicy.
All right, so there was a red carpet premiere here in Hollywood on February 5th. Here's a picture we can see. This is the cast at the Egyptian Theater in Hollywood.
They look great.
The Egyptian Theater opened in 1927. It's where the very first movie premiere happened. It was called Robin Hood. The reason why I know this is I'm a tour guide in Hollywood, and we actually go to the theater. So it's fun
amazing.
to go, oh, I take my guests there when they're in Hollywood. But anyway, the cast was there. Producers with there. And what's interesting is the comic was written by Joe Hill, who is the son of Stephen King.
Who would have
know that.
thought?
And if you don't know, this project had gone through Fox as a TV series, Hulu as a TV series. It was going to be a Universal feature film. Then finally Netflix picked it up. It was a 10-year show in the making. So things don't always
Imagine that,
happen
guys.
right away. And then there's Kenzie right there. So I found out a little bit about actress Amelia Jones, who plays Lindsay. She was born in London. At age 8, she was in a romantic tragedy film called One Day. She was in movies Brimstone, Ghostland. 2013, she was in an episode of Doctor Who playing the young Queen of Years. And she was also young Princess Fiona in Shrek the Musical.
Wow.
Oh,
So that's kind of a little insight, and that's my fun little news.
Thanks for that
you.
information. I did not know that.
Yeah, it makes sense that this is written by someone related to Stephen King. I get those vibes.
Yeah.
It's very well written. All right, so guys, let's get into some predictions.
Your AfterBuzz
We can
TV
go
predictions.
in so many different directions, but I'm gonna let y'all decide what y'all want to focus on tonight.
My prediction is Sam is going to use the key to burn down the prison.
Boom,
That's all.
pin drop.
Yep. Simple.
Well, with this new matchstick key or fire key that I was calling it, we're going to learn more about it, and I'm just curious where these keys. Many keys are used in a lock, but we saw in the very first episode it was inside the body. We're starting to see keys, so I'm curious where we might see more keys being used.
Okay, fair
So
enough.
less of a prediction and more of a, I wonder what else they could do with a key.
I do think that Dodge may. I'm not familiar with the comics, so just putting that out there. I do think that Dodge is Ellie's boyfriend. And I think that I did a little bit of side snooping and found out about some other keys. And I think that there may be another key that was involved in this situation. So,
That's
just
a
putting
really
that
good
out there.
one. I'm interested.
So you're thinking Dodge is a guy.
One of the
Maybe she
kids
swapped
from the.
genders or something.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. I mean, she knows all of them, or if not that, then she's an angry kid that they picked on or something, and she's being
For sure.
vengeful. She gives me that vibe.
Like
She gives
an
me
Aaron.
Carrie vibes.
Like an Aaron or Vasi.
Or any
Yeah.
of them, because they seem like the cool kids. They hung out at this big mansion, so she could have been someone that they picked on. Who knows?
Like the nerd.
The nemesis. Who knows? It'll be interesting to find out. But I do think the fact that we found out her weakness, I think that's gonna be a big key issue.
We
fun.
went like pretty far without using any this time. So I think
I know,
we're good.
Yeah.
right?
Oh, and I will bet you anything that before 3 of the kids got killed off in that underwater cave, they were all at a bonfire. That's my prediction. Boom, we're going to see a bonfire
Full
scene.
circle. Full
And
circle.
someone's playing guitar.
Absolutely. You can't have a bonfire without a guitar. But, guys, that covers tonight's episode. Where can we find you guys on social media?
You can find me on Instagram at Lauren Kling, LORENKLING.
And you can find me on Instagram as well at Niam Janice, which is NYAMJANICE.
You guys can find me on Instagram and Twitter at PrincessCTV and also on the All Rise After Show on Monday nights. See you guys later.
Bye.
Our founder, Keven Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.